Good to see you again. Good to see you, Tracy. Of course, Dr. Tracey Brigman here at UGA, the lady with so many titles. I guess best one would be registered dietitian.
That's right.
That? Okay.
That's right.
But yes, we're doing summer squash.
We're
correct?
doing
okay.
summer squash. So we're going to start with a traditional squash casserole. So you can't go wrong with squash and butter and onions and cheese and all that kind of stuff. So right here I have 2 pounds of squash that I cut up into half moons and about 1/2-inch slices. And then there is also 1 medium onion that I sliced really thin. And I boiled that for 3 minutes.
Okay.
Our squash casserole, I like my squash to still be in the same shape that I cut it in. You can boil it longer if you like it a little bit mushier. I like mine to still have a little bit of bite to it.
Let's get squashing.
Let's get squashing.
Okay.
Okay, so again, you're just gonna cook it to your like doneness. I did 3 minutes, you could do 5 or whatever.
Okay.
So while it is still hot, I wanna add 3 cups of grated sharp cheddar cheese. And then that is a 1/2 stick of butter that I cut up into smaller pieces because I want it to melt pretty good. So now we want to stir that so that the butter melts and the cheese starts melting. Okay, so now we're going to add a 1/2 cup of whole milk. You can use 2% or skim and just stir that in a little bit. I have 2 beaten eggs here. I like to temper it, so because I already mentioned we don't want scrambled eggs. So to temper, I'm going to take a little bit of the warmed liquid and add it to the cold eggs to kind of bring up the temperature before I dump it in that hot dish. And so just like 2 little scoopfuls, probably enough. So now it's not refrigerator cold anymore. I can pour it over. And you can see it did not scramble. I need something to bind it together. So for this recipe, I am using 32 Ritz crackers that I crumbled. Make sure it's 32. I counted them twice.
And you used an even number, which I like.
That's right. I counted them twice. I'm gonna mix that in. That's gonna soak up some of that liquid and kind of also bind it. And then we have 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So once it's combined, this is a 3-quart casserole dish that I buttered, more butter. I buttered the bottom so that things don't stick. We're gonna pour that yummy goodness into there. And then to top it, more Ritz crackers that are crumbled. So
32?
I didn't count these. This is 1 tube. So if 1 tube isn't enough, this looks like it is to cover the top. All right, and then I'm gonna put that in a preheated oven that has been preheated to 350 degrees. It's gonna cook for 45 minutes to an hour till it's brown and bubbly. When it comes out,
just like that.
It looks just like that.
All right, so staying in the squash family, we go from yellow squash to zucchini, which you just taught me something. I didn't even realize zucchini was a squash. I know. So we're going with that right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna make some healthy breakfast muffins. I like something sweet in the morning, and it's hard to find something that's healthy and sweet, so this should fit the bill. So we're gonna start with our wet ingredients. So over here I have 1 cup of shredded carrots. And then I have 2 bananas that I mashed. Mashed bananas. That's going to give some moisture and texture. And then the star of our muffin, a 1½ cup shredded zucchini. I left the skin on it. The skin provides some fiber. That's also, the nutrients are right under the skin, so you don't want to, and because it's shredded, you don't get a bunch of skin in one bite. After my shredded zucchini, I'm going to do 1/4 cup of, that's canola oil. You can use any clean tasting oil, vegetable oil. And then I have 1/4 cup of yogurt. And then we're gonna add 2 eggs.
Eggs.
That looks pretty good. Okay, so now we're gonna work on the dry ingredients. This is 1 cup of whole wheat flour. You cannot sub out the whole wheat flour. The whole wheat flour is gonna absorb a lot of liquid, so if you tried to use all-purpose flour, it would be a really gummy, mushy muffin that you can cook and cook and cook, and you're not gonna think it's done. So 1 cup of whole wheat flour, and that's 1½ teaspoons of baking soda. Then I'm gonna add my sweet ingredients. So that is 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of rolled oats. These are the old-fashioned ones, not the instant ones, so we're adding more fiber to it. And here is where I can mix and match some stuff. This is 1/2 cup of chopped pecans. If you want a different nut in there, go ahead. That is a 1/2 cup of sweetened shredded coconut. And then this is a 1/2 cup of dried cherries. This is a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. So give it a little bit more flavor. So I'm gonna mix my dry ingredients together till, again, they're well combined. All right, so we're now gonna dump that into my wet mixture. And because these are muffins, you never stir muffins with a hand mixer. You just stir it till everything is just barely moistened.
Okay.
I have my muffin tin. You can use spray if you don't have the muffin liners. I like using the muffin liners because it's a lot easier to clean up. So I'm going to fill each of these muffin cups till it's about 2/3 full. Once I have my muffin tin filled, each of them 2/3 filled, I'm going to put it in the oven that was preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and they're going to cook for 18 to 22 minutes.
There you have it. 2 quick, easy recipes that you could also do at home, and you can find these recipes by logging on to farm-monitor.com, going to the very top, the recipe section. And again, very, very easy, probably maybe a 1/2 hour for both of them if you want to come. Good.
Yeah.
Well, Tracey, as always, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your summer squash.